Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Mr. Irrelevant, and welcome back to Mr. Irrelevant Plays. Today is going to be probably a long one. I'm talking about every single Constitution variant, and just kind of comparing them each to one another, even though that's kind of like dumb. But yeah, I'm gonna talk about every single Constitution, even the Colony 3. I already talked about it. I guess I could just slap that video at the end of this video. Who knows? Yeah, I'm gonna talk about every single Constitution variant that I own, which I'm pretty sure I own all of them. I could be wrong. Starting with the very first Tier 6 one that they released, which is the Temporal Light Cruiser. Now, ignore the build. I haven't touched this ship in a very long time. This is not how I would set this shit up, and I don't even remember upgrading it, but I did. Like I stated in the last video with the Temporal D7, I thought it was Temporal, which it's not, and why am I around? Whatever. Anyway, it's Temporal Primary with Command Secondary, which actually makes this ship pretty good. I mean, it has the same problem as Excelsior 2, where it only has two... Well, not two, I'm sorry. Wow, brain. Where it only has 4 bridge officer seatings, which does limit what you can do with it, but with it being Temporal Command, you can actually do a lot with it. So 4 bridge officer seating, the console layout is 4 engineering, 3 science, 4 tactical. It's a 5-3 loadout, which is basically what you want in a ship. Can this ship do high DPS? Well, of course it can. You just gotta set it up correctly. I mean, wait till you guys see what I'm cooking up in the background. The only way to get this version is, of course, unfortunately, R&D promo, duty officer, that type of stuff. So, it is difficult to acquire. Is this ship fun? Oh, absolutely. I was very upset when they made the first Tier 6 Constitution a R&D promo ship. I was very upset. I'm pretty sure a lot of people were. But I did get one eventually. It took me a long time. I definitely didn't get it the year that it came out. It was just... Well, it took me a while. So the next Constitution I'm going to talk about... Oh yeah, by the way, this ship could actually be a good tank. It has command seating, it has command attract fire. Temporal is actually pretty good when it comes to tanking. I don't like the temporal mechanic that comes on ships. That's just me. Not a huge fan of it. But it is what it is. Let's go ahead and talk about the next Constitution. Now, I'm trying to do this in, chronological order of when they added it to the game. I might be off, but next one is going to be the Kelvin Timeline Constitution. So the Kelvin Connie, which I haven't touched. This ship literally has been sitting in my dry dock for years. As you can see with the consoles that I'm currently running, this is a very old build. Very old. Yeah, it doesn't even have the trace at that. Anyway, so the Kelvin Timeline Heavy Command Cruiser. Another lockbox ship, unfortunately, so if you wanted to fly this particular version, you're gonna have to get the lockbox variant. Or get it from the lockbox itself. When they announced, the Kelvin Timeline Constitution and the Vengeance, I had to get them. I love the Kelvin Timeline movies. I think they're great. Yes, the third one isn't as good as the first, but I thought the first one was fantastic. I did enjoy the second one. It's not as good as the first one, but I did enjoy it. I don't have like the same when I watch shows or movies, I don't do it the same like others. I go in with zero expectations, so then one, I don't get disappointed, and then two, if it just so happens that it's good, I'll enjoy it even more. Or not at a young age, but I enjoy the Kelvin Timeline movies. I think they're good movies, but that's just me. So this ship is a command primary, temporal secondary. This thing can definitely tank very well with it being command primary, and the fact that you have the command mechanics, which, as a lot of you know, is my favorite. This ship is great. It is a 4/4 loadout, unfortunately. That is the only downside to this variant of the Kelvin Constitution. Console layout is 4-3-4, just like the temporal, but at least it has the full bridge officer complement, so you can actually get more out of this than you could the temporal Connie in some ways. This ship and the temporal Connie are very similar with the, temporal command combination. But I would definitely say that both of these ships are very good in their own right. I really can't say which one is better over the other. I would have to use them to see, which you already know what build I run. Just slap those builds on there, and my personal will perform just fine. And I didn't even go over the mastery of the previous one, but I'm pretty sure that y'all already know. But let me just go ahead and pull it up over here. Let me see. So the mastery for the Temporal Constitution, aka the Temporal Light Cruiser, is going to be as follows. It is literally the same as the ship. Exactly the same. So the first mastery is adaptive hull plating, gives you kinetic and physical resistance. The second one is rapid repairs, which gives you regeneration. The third one is enhanced hull plating, which is energy damage resistance and radiation damage resistance. And the last one is just increased armor, so increased hull points. The trait for the Temporal Constitution is called Built to Last. Basically, go ahead and pull it up in here. Unlocked. Built to Last. Every single time you use a healing ability, gain regeneration, and weapon power cost. It's actually a pretty good trait. Like, it's not a trait that I would go out of my way to acquire and equip, but it is a trait that is good enough to use if you don't really have much to use. For the Kelvin Timeline Heavy Cruiser, it's down but not out. Bonus starts at 80% hull and reaches max potential at 20% hull, up to plus 20 all subsistence power max increase as hull percent decreases. This trait, depending on your build, will be amazing for you. Depending on your build, of course. Because up to plus 20 all subsystems power as, your health decreases, that's kind of nutty. You can do a lot with that. But again, it's because of how many traits exist in the game now, there of course are better traits than this one, but this is still a good trait. And I'm sure it got overlooked and has now been forgotten, but with how things are now today, with today's meta and builds, I think it would be a really good addition to everyone's collection. Okay, so the next constitution that I'm going to talk about is going to be the Discovery Era Constitution. I can find it. There it is. Oh, I forgot to equip the temporal, the legendary version of this roster. I'll just blow it up on the Zen store. So the Miracle Worker Flight Deck Carrier is a R&D promo ship, unfortunately. And yes, I did update it recently with my current primary stuff. I like I said, I do not like the Burnham show. It has nothing to do with the actress. I think she did great with the role that she was given. I just don't like the show. However, I think the Federation ships are fantastic. I have been enjoying Strange New Worlds. I'm watching that again. I just finished season 2 last night. I started season 3. And the Enterprise, I like the design. They stayed true to basically, I could say, like, the source material. They got like the satellite dish deflector, just like the TOS variant has. The rotating nacelles in the front, just like TOS did as well, depending on the variant that you're using. Like, they did a very good job designing the ship. And it is slightly bigger than the original, but not by much. And you also have to remember that back during the TOS era, technology back then for us was kind of awful. So trying to create ships like this when you're literally using toilet paper rolls to build the nacelles, it was pretty bad, but it was still great. Now, I can't sit here and say which one's better because I think that they're both fantastic. I love the TOS era, I love the TMP era, and like I said, I do love the Federation ship designs for the Federation ships. Now, with that being said, about this ship in particular, is this ship worth acquiring? Honestly, in my personal opinion, yes. I do think it's better than the temporal one, only because of the fact that it's Miracle Worker. I kind of am biased when it comes to Miracle Worker, because Miracle Worker is the extra console slot. Sorry about that, y'all. I know that you guys had like a. Doesn't seem like that any time has passed, but quite a while. I get English. Quite a while. A bit of time has passed for me. I had to pause. Now I'm resuming. So I apologize about it. Let's go ahead and resume our video today. So, resuming with the Disco Prize. Ship design, fantastic. The ship itself is amazing. If I remember correctly, it was because of this ship that they actually brought in the flight deck carrier, made it a whole thing. I think. I could be wrong. I just might not have been paying attention. Which, it's probably I have not been paying attention. But yeah, the ship is fantastic. It comes with special phaser beams that are unique to itself, which are these advanced phaser beams, and you can reclaim them in the DIL store along with the disruptor beams as well. That comes off the D7. And comes with 2 hangar bays, which is huge, so leveling up a ship like this would be fantastic, and I'll get into it as to why. So, yeah, this is the Miracle Worker flight deck carrier, the Discovery Enterprise, Disco Prize, Strange New World ship. It's fantastic. The design is great. I love this ship. It handles amazingly. Now let's go ahead and move on to the legendary Hanis. So, like I said before, I forgot to acquire or equip the legendary Disco Prize. So this one is a temporal variant. Unlike the R&D promo version, this has Miracle Worker and Command. This one just has temporal. Temporal primary, temporal secondary, Miracle Worker primary, Command secondary. So, in terms of which ship is better, my personal opinion, it's the R&D promo one, but it's because I am biased and I really love Miracle Worker. But in terms of ship's performance, they're the same. I'm gonna be blunt with y'all. It has 2 hangar bays, just like this one. The console layout is also slightly different. Instead of it being 5-3-3, well, 1-5-3-3, it's 4-4-3. So tactical stays the same. It loses engineering, but it gains science. And then, of course, if you X2 it, it'll have 2 universals. If you X2 this one, it'll have 3 universals. Bridge officer layout, let's go ahead and take a quick look, is relatively the same. Relatively. It has 2 lieutenant commander seats, 1 commander seat, an ensign seat, and then a tactical. The only difference is, of course, obviously, it's, you know, the who occupies the seat. Like for this one, ensign science, ensign engineer. The lieutenant seat's universal. Tactical here. The miracle worker engineer is temporal engineer, and then instead of having a universal lieutenant commander, it has a science lieutenant commander. But it does also have a universal slot, so I guess you could say that replaces itself. And then tactical gets downgraded, but you can pretty much do the same build just with temporal abilities instead. For the legendary temporal flight deck carrier, which comes from the 10th anniversary bundle. I do apologize for those who didn't get it when it came out or have been waiting for them to re-add it to the store. It's one of those things where they just do it every so often. The trade itself is just the same because the way the legendary ships work is any variant of the ship that existed prior to the legendary's release, you'll get every form of that ship as a skin, and as you can see, and you also get its trait, its consoles, everything. So this ship comes with the same phasers that this one comes with, and when you claim it, they're already equipped. So in my personal opinion, this is the best leveling ship in the game when you create a fresh character, because it has 5 of those special beams in front and like 2 in the back, and it has the hangar base. So when you're flying around with more firepower than you technically should have. It's fantastic. With it being a legendary ship, it does have a legendary trait, which is weaponized time crystals. It's a fun trait. It's not very strong, though. It just adds a anti-proton DOT, and yes, it has been tested with the plasma build that people were doing with the Gorn trait from the Gorn Heavy Raider. Even with those buffs, it's like non-existent. Like the damage ain't there, so it's not that great. But as a low level player that doesn't really have anything, it actually is a pretty good trait when leveling up. So both ships are relatively the same in terms of what you can do with it. Granted, you will have 1 less console slot because Universal reigns supreme. But temporal abilities are generally more powerful for builds than Miracle Worker. Like for now, what I'm doing is I'm not using just standard Miracle Worker abilities for damage. I'm just using like 1 or 2 Miracle Workers just for cooldown for Uncon, and that's about it. Alright, let's go ahead and move on to the next Constitution that was added with the 10th anniversary bundle. And I did claim this one, but I didn't do the naming convention that I normally do. Like I said, I'm trying to do this in the order as they were released. Since 10th anniversary bundle was released all at once, these ships will, do them in the order that I want to. The legendary Connie of the TMP/TOS era. Its legendary skin honestly looks amazing. It has that TOS feel with a little bit of TMP flair. It's a combination that they did that just works. Like, it looks so good. The ship itself, it is a Miracle Worker. As you can see, I did exit. So I have 2 universal consoles. It comes with 2 consoles from the other Connies, the tier 1 and the R&D promo tier 6. So you get both consoles. Like this console, the Anonymous device is a pretty good console. Buffs your overall damage, so it's a good console to get early on or leveling up. As for late game, well, know where this console lies. So this ship does have a hindrance, just like the Kelvin Command Connie, where it's a 4/4, so you don't have the 5/3 loadout like the Temporal Connie, so the Temporal Connie does have that going for it. However, this ship does have 5 bridge officer seats instead of just 3, instead of just 4. It's a pure Miracle Worker ship, Miracle Primary, Miracle Secondary, so in terms of like what abilities that you can run, you are at least you still get the miracle workers, which they are great. They have been buffed recently with being able to use or proc uncon. I don't, as far as I am aware, none of them can proc temporal tunneling. Let me just go ahead and double check. No, 2 abilities can proc temporal tunneling and 2 abilities can proc uncon. So it got buffed recently, which is fantastic. This ship handles very, very well. Granted, I don't have any of my stuff equipped on it, but as you can see, even with the base stuff, my power level is just evenly distributed. It's moving pretty well. I remember doing a PvP event a long time ago with the fleet that I was running with. The plan, we gave good rewards, don't worry. But I didn't participate because the fleet was not a PvP fleet, and I had, like, builds that were good in PvP. Not, like, the best. Like, I wasn't a meta chaser for PvP, but, like, I could have soloed, like, the entire fleet. But I helped them get ready. Well, there's like 2 people that gave me a run for my money, and it was like kind of like a coin toss if I would win or not. So when it comes to this ship, it runs very well. It's 4/4 loadout, so you know you don't have the 5/3 like you'd want, but the ship, it runs very well. Comes with the built to last trait. Well, like I said before, it's a great trait to have, and also legendary trait comes as the best diplomat. I personally like this trait because it buffs beam damage. Well, it's just bonus overall damage, but during fire at will and beam overload, beam weapon damage is improved by engines, shields, and aux power. Minimum 10% bonus damage. Okay, so it's just beams based on the description. Max 30% bonus damage at 300 total shield, engine, aux power. So if you're at 300 power for all 3 of them put together, then you get the maximum amount of damage from that. How builds are nowadays, especially when you combine it with the legendary nebula trait, that's very easy to acquire. Now, I would just do a standard beam fire at will build on this ship. As far as I'm aware, it cannot equip dual heavy cannons, which it cannot, but it can equip turrets, but every ship can. So, standard beam fire at will build is what I'd recommend. You could technically throw a few torps on there, but this ship is not a torp boat because torp boats require at least a lieutenant commander manned seat. So, but I mean, the design of it's fantastic. It has the classic TOS feel with a hint of TMP. Like, this is in between TOS and TMP. Like, they were just getting into the TMP era of it, but it looks fantastic. It flies great, and yes, with this ship, you get every skin excluding the Shangri-La as a skin for it, even if you don't own the ship, including the TOS, ship from R&D promo. Onward to the next ship, the final Constitution from the Legendary Bundle, which also happens to be like my favorite out of all of the Kelvin Connies. The Legendary Kelvin Connie, aka the Intel Battlecruiser. This is a 5/3 loadout, unlike its command counterpart. It is a pure Intel ship, so Intel primary, Intel secondary. As you can see, I have X2'd it, and I do play this ship a lot. I love it. I do need to update its build just a little bit because I no longer use like this console, for example, or I even stopped using this one. But as for this ship, it handles so well. It is weird how well this thing can move. Like, you can zip around like a crazy person with this thing. It flies fantastic with it being Intel. Of course, I can use my Borg duty officers with this thing if I really want to. Its seating is very flexible. Intel, engineering, commander. Then the universal slot is also Intel, and that's lieutenant commander. You have a lieutenant commander tactical. Like, it's very universal what you can do, and the fact that it has like a lieutenant science makes it really good. Like, you don't really need more science with this ship, technically. A lieutenant is a perfect slot for it. At least when it comes to ships like this, I think. Because, I mean, I don't really need photonic officer, to be fair. But there are some ships I do fly that don't really get that option. As for its design, it is a more like gosh, you know how to describe the design. Well, what they did, they made the nacelle smaller to give it more, you know, I would say like angular look to it, which they did with the pylons going back. The neck is a little bit taller. The deflector is bigger. The hull itself is a little bit more like armor plated. Like, this is a very good ship, and as you can see, the impulse engines are massive. It's just one big engine instead of two small ones, but this one big one is way stronger than the two small ones. So this thing is basically built for speed. So this is a ship that you can easily zoom around in. It looks great, it flies great, and I do love the Kelvin Timeline movies. Third one was kind of most disappointing, but we already know that. But yeah, legendary Kelvin Connie. This is probably my favorite ship out of the 10th anniversary bundle. That's just me. All right, onward to the next Constitution class that they added to the game, which, if I remember correctly, I want to say it was the Kelvin Connie 2. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I'm just double checking for y'all real quick so that I don't miss something. Yep, it was Kelvin Connie 2. I'm pretty sure. Let me just go ahead and double check. I am looking. Pretty sure it was released in 2023 or 2024. Let's see. All right, it was released in 2024. Towards like mid 2024, was released in April, so it's definitely the next one. I think. I'm pretty sure. I want to say it is because the Shangri-La was released last year, right? Along with the Omega, which I don't own. I tried to get it, but I failed miserably. Oh yes, okay. So this is the next Connie, Kelvin Connie 2. In terms of appearance, this one is definitely my favorite. It is just beautiful. It's a Intel primary, pilot secondary, so I can utilize all of my tactical Borg officers. Also, in terms of for those guys like the PvP, the meta is Intel primary, pilot secondary, so this is perfect. There are only two ships that have this exact bridge officer layout that you need for having a meta build for PvP. This one and the Hydra. So technically speaking, the ship is meta for PvP. So enjoy. As you can see, I kind of have like a PvP kind of loadout, but like it's so outdated that I wouldn't touch PvP. I'm gonna be honest. But anyway, as far as how this ship performs just as well as the legendary Connie. Granted, this one with it having pilot, it could perform a little bit better. I don't know, it basically does perform a little bit better compared to the legendary Connie. I just like the legendary Connie the most. Its design is fantastic. They did a 5-3 loadout on this one as well. And it's just clean. And like the way that they did like the saucer, it's no longer like a kind of like a box. It's actually like angled, similar to the Discovery Enterprise. So it is similar, but it's not the same. Because obviously it's bigger and it's a different timeline. But in terms of like how the ship is, it performs extremely well. It is an amazing beam boat. As far as I'm aware, this ship cannot equip dual cannons. I don't think the other one can. No, wait, the other one can, because this is a battle cruiser. So that one can do something that the ship can't. Pure beams. The other one can actually do cannons. Enjoys the battle cruisers. So, I definitely give this ship a high ranking. This is a very fun ship. It's fantastic. This is a, if I remember correctly, Kelvin Connie 2 is a... Oh, yep, it's a lockbox ship. Wait, is it a lockbox ship? That's how it is. Oh, I'm just gonna go based on what this website says. The website says lockbox, so it's lockbox. You know, I could have sworn it was R&D promo, but I'm dumb. Don't worry about me. So yeah, Kelvin Conti 2, this is the final iteration of the Kelvin Timeline constitutions. Yes, there are many other Kelvin Timeline ships, and I own quite a few of them. I read the Bird of Prey wish list. So let's go ahead and move on to the next Connie style ship that they added to the game, which is one of my favorites. I absolutely love this thing. Oh boy. Let's get it. The Shangri-La. This is a Zen ship, so anyone and everyone has access to it. It makes a good torp boat, makes a good cannon boat, and it makes a good beam boat, which I'm currently doing beams. So just like I said, I am currently keeping the skins pretty much at the base, no vanity shield. It does have a Constitution look, which actually I did skip one. Oh boy. Yep, I skipped one, so I'll have to go back to it, which I did make a video on that before, so I really won't go over it too much. But anyway, as you guys can see, this one has a very similar look to the Constitution 3. As for what this ship was meant for, it was meant for like a frontline assault ship during the TMP era. Is a TMP style ship. It has a very similar saucer, just smaller and doesn't have the extra impulse support engines on the side. It's very, very similar in design. Torpedo bay is not. I don't even think that is a torpedo bay. But if that is, it's just one instead of two. The ship flies extremely well. It moves well because it's a warship. All warships fly great. 5-3 loadout, with it being X2, 2 universal consoles, 4 engineering, 2 science, 5 tactical. As for its bridge officer layout, it is a command primary with pilot secondary. Pilot is great for a ship like this because it makes it move faster, especially when running this, which is a clean getaway. Anything behind you is getting slapped in the face with radiation, and move a little bit faster, and also procs on con. So there's a bonus for you there. Like I said, this ship makes a great torp boat, makes a great cannon boat, makes a great beam boat. So if you haven't picked this one up, definitely recommend picking it up. And I didn't even talk about the consoles or anything about the previous ships or even traits. Way to go, me! Just goes to show you how forgetful they are. When it comes to the Kelvin Connie 2, its console actually I find to be very good. Any like fighter, pet, or destructible torpedo immediately gets deleted. Passively, you get phaser damage and flight speed, and when you activate, oh, even mines get deleted, so it's very, very good, and you're immune to kinetic damage and phaser damage. Well, think about it. If someone's coming at you with phaser damage, you activate that, they can't hurt you. You also gain flight speed and turn rate while the console's active, which is fantastic. As for the Kelvin Connie 2 trait, trait from the Kelvin Connie is create an artificial gravitational nexus for 30 seconds. Once per 45 seconds. Allies within 5 kilometers of the nexus gain flight speed. Bonus all damage. And... oh wow. Bonus all damage with exotic damage abilities. Bonus all damage with projectile weaponry. So, torp trait. Or is that cannons? I'm not sure. But... that's a pretty good trait. It's not like something I would go on my way to you know, have when it comes to the Shangri-La. Its trait and its mastery is basically offense. Its trait is when activating evasive maneuvers, you gain fire cycle haste. So fire cycle haste is the name of the game. It is a really it's a pretty good trait. It's not something I would personally equip because I'm honestly not running like hitting evasive maneuvers that often. But for something like Infected Elite, not bad. But I just don't know how long that proc lasts for, so I would have to, you know, double check. So let's go ahead and move on to the Constitution that I skipped, because I thought that was really after, but I did already do a video on it, so I'm just gonna briefly go over it since I already made a video on it. Waiting for it to load. All right. So 4-4 loadout. I only upgraded it once. It is a Miracle Worker, so I already know that I love it. Torpedo banks. As you can see, there's 2. That's why I wasn't sure about the Shangri-La. This is a much bigger version of the Shangri-La variant. I want to say that they designed the Shangri-La around this, but I'm not 100% sure because my lore on ships from TMP is very limited because I know most of the TMP stuff is books, even other games that have been forgotten, so on. This is more of a survivability ship than it is for DPSing, but of course, you already know I'm DPSing. It's what I do. Stations, Miracle Worker primary, pilot secondary, so it's basically just like the Shangri-La, just instead of it being command, it's Miracle Worker, which y'all know I love command being primary. You know what, ladies and gentlemen, I just realized it's already like late in the afternoon for me, and I forgot to add the Mirror Warship to the list of Connies. So yay! So I do apologize about that. I'm going to go ahead and throw this in somewhere in the video. I'm not sure where exactly, because, you know, the ending is the ending, and I don't want to put this after that. But, let's go ahead and talk about the Mirror Warship. In terms of maneuverability for all the Connies, I want to say this one has the best maneuverability, because, well, it's a warship. Well, not the best, because the Shangri-La also, you know, is a warship and very similar loadout, 5 front, 3 back, 5 TAC consoles. This is upgraded at least once, so it has the universal. I have updated this literally like yesterday, I think, because of the video, and I was also just flying it just because. Like I said, I like the design of the Discovery era ships. They are not bad looking. I have no idea why I activated that, but I did. So let's go ahead and discuss this one a little bit. When it comes to the stations, it is a Intel only seating, but it's a lieutenant commander, so it doesn't have the Intel mechanic, which I don't ever use. But in terms of bridge officer layout, doing a standard beam firewall build, it's a good bridge officer setup that you can do with this one, with the Ensign Universal and then the Intel Lieutenant Commander Universal. You do get some freedom in terms of like what abilities you can run and cannot run. The only thing that's really limiting the ship is, of course, only have specialist seating, which does kind of stink compared to the other, you know, Connies within the game. But yeah, this ship is also really fantastic. It's super fun to fly. It's honestly just as fun to fly as Shangri-La. The only thing that stinks about this one is the fact that they force lockbox. So that's another downside. Majority of the Connies are like lockboxes, which is kind of wild to me. That's just me, you know. But what do I know? I don't know how to. I'm not a game dev. I don't know how to run a business. But in terms of supporting Star Trek Online, I am more than happy to, acquire this. So I was happy to do so. The trait on this is Tearing Goodbye. It is a good trait. Every time you defeat a foe, you gain accuracy and critical chance, which stacks up to 3 times, so that's 15% and 75 accuracy. It's a station, a standard warship. I don't remember the console that comes off of this thing. So let me look and see. In an age. Let's see, what is this called? Oh, right. It's this console. Okay. So I used to actually run this console a lot back in the day because it gives critical severity, which I like. Here it is. Critical severity, what, 2%? I thought it was 15. They change it? I think they changed it. Its clicky is basically a debuff, which of course would work very well with current meta, because the whole point is like debuff things. Actually no, it's just power levels. Never mind. Power levels does kinetic damage and slows the enemy down. So I mean, if anything, that'd be good for PvP, but it's a rift, so it's, you know, avoiding it is easy. But yeah, I mean, I thought that this gave 15%. Which, did they change all that recently? Hold on. Okay, no, that's still the same. So they did change this console, because it used to give 15% critical severity, unless mine's bugged. See something. We're gonna go down the rabbit hole. Yes, I still haven't fixed my inventory problem. Okay, store. Flame. If I can... There it is. Yeah, see, 50%. I'm not crazy. It's a good console. Don't get me wrong. It's a good console. Another warship to add to the list of constitutions. There are only 2 constitutions that are warships, which is of course this one and then Shangri-La. You could technically say that the temporal... Wait a minute. Hold on, am I just lying to you all? I think I'm lying to you all. Alright, where'd it go? Yep, nope, it's just this and the Shangri-La that are warships. So yeah, both these ships run very well. They're both very similar in terms of like performance as a ship, not including the specialization. Or specialized bridge officer seating. It looks good. Like I said, I like the design of Discovery era Federation ships. They're I like them anyway. But yep, this is the Mirror warship. I'm literally recording this way after I already made the video, so this is like kind of like future future me talking. So I'm gonna put this somewhere in the video. Anyway, enjoy the rest of the video. Now, let's go ahead and talk about the elephant in the room. The one ship that I don't have. A buddy of mine donated 120 keys to me, and I did not get anything. So let that sink in. 120 keys. Nothing. That just goes to show you how horrible my luck is. But my friend who donated those keys is a guy who has a lifetime, does not play, and he's like, take my keys. I'm like, oh, okay, sure. I'm not going to say no. So when it comes to the Omega class, you can technically call it a Constitution. You also technically say that's not. To me, I'm saying it's a Constitution because, I mean, look at its general design. It looks like a Constitution. I'm sure it flies like one too. I would love to have this ship because, one, I mean, look at it. It looks like it's falling apart. I love the uniqueness of this ship. It's a miracle worker pilot. So it's going to be very similar to the Connie 3. Bridge officer layout is tactical pilot, lieutenant commander, lieutenant tactical, miracle worker, engineer command, ensign command, and universal lieutenant commander, which I would most likely use for science. That's just me. It has console layout: 4 tactical, 5 engineering, 2 science, 1 universal. Very similar to this. It is a 4-4 loadout, just like this. Go ahead and look at the stations real quick. The stations are different, obviously, as you can see. When it comes to a hangar bay, there's no hangar bay on the ship, but it can equip dual cannons, which I don't think this one can. It cannot equip dual cannons, so that thing has something going for it, and my inventory's full. Awesome, love it. Based on what I am seeing on its stats for its maneuverability is pretty good. It's not terrible. It has very, flushed out bridge officer seating. A lot of combinations you can do. It has a little bit of, combat ability for increased critical severity, but it does have a lot of, damage resistance compared to the Constitution 3. Its trait is something that I would run in PvP because it, when in combat and at full throttle, increased damage, reduced weapon power cost. So that's definitely a PvP style trait. I didn't even go over this ship's trait, but I think I did. Which this one is Thunder Run, bonus all damage, defense increase, scales with speed. So the more speed you have, the better it is. And also, if you're tanking, increase that threat generation. Now, I don't have this ship, so I can't really go over its console, really, besides what it says on the website. I tried to get it, but I couldn't, so I do apologize about that. I definitely want to, when I do these types of videos where I'm comparing, you know, ships that are basically in the same family, I like to own them, so I can give you guys a better experience to at least show you what it looks like. But unfortunately, I cannot. So if I do ever get one, then I will definitely let y'all know, and I'll make a video on it. But these are the constitutions of Star Trek Online. It is very easy to get the Shangri-La, so if you love the Constitution class like I do, get the Shangri-La. You can get it a standalone ship. You can use the Constitution skin on it. The only skins that you can't use is the TOS Constitution, the other TOS Constitution, the Tier 1, at least I think that's Tier 1, and then of course the Jeffries Legendary. But if you get the Legendary one, you get access to all the skins, so then fine. Shangri-La, fantastic ship. If you really love the Constitution as I do, this is honestly your best option. Because it's standalone, it's Zen 3K, and it's just a buy once and then you're good. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. God bless, and I will see y'all next time.